Hello my darlings, I'm Indigo Monroe, and I hope you enjoy this video.
I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try. I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head to see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now, there is no escape."
Hee-chan! It looks like we're together again. Yay, yay!
Sorry, I had to back the fuck up because... Oh, hi, Loki. I had to back the fuck up because they got way too fucking close. Loki, get in your dad's chair. Come on. We're gonna be in here. Get in your dad's chair, not Mom's desk. Sit. Anyways. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly.
What's wrong, Hee-chan? Oh, Hee-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said you would think about joining the student council, didn't you?
Fuck my life, woman.
It's okay, Hee-chan. We were talking about after you left, and it would be rude to expect you'd already have an answer for us this early, right? Right.
I'm so happy you two were able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. At least they're self-aware. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only 2 problems. I almost want to say something about her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. It seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako, trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. Now, I can't remember seeing her work with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there.
Uh-huh. Who, Hee-chan?
Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone?
I think so, Hee-chan. Don't you feel sorry for her because she's alone?
I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hee-chan.
Why not?
Shi-chan wouldn't get along with her.
Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lilting up and down quality present in everything she says.
Just because, Hee-chan.
By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time.
What, Shi-chan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that.
You said it anyways.
I know, Hee-chan. It's fine if you overhear.
I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is never a conversation Shizune will be left out of?
Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hee-chan.
We finished with time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as, frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have the time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Sorry, I'm hearing something. Give me one sec.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry about that. I had to check in on my kids because I thought I was hearing some weird shit. Must have been psychosis. I don't know. Anyways. Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder to the back, towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who can see her. Almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? Let's go talk with her. I still feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I'd rather say something. Hey there, Hanako.
Hiso!
Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here and thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks up at me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room, but it's so noticeable from close up.
That's okay. It was my fault.
Nah, it wasn't anyone's fault. It just kind of happened. So are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before.
Yes, Lily.
Oh, you mean Lily the blind girl? Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disabilities is a faux pas of the worst kind or just normal here. I would argue that it's pretty fucked up because the last thing I would want to be talked about is, Indigo, the crazy girl with schizoaffective disorder. Actually, knowing how humanity in this country is, it'd be, yes, the schizophrenic. Anyways, I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. And are you two friends?
Yes.
As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now.
No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here.
Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom?
Not really.
Hanako's gaze drifts past my shoulder toward Shizune. Shizune? Hanako nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head. Clearly this is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense, Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Shizune that I am the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door.
Lily!
Hanako.
Good morning. Is the president here? Yes.
Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible.
I suppose we'd best be off then.
Lily's sigh and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, then they would tell me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that this school has little feuds, just like my old high school. Even if people were more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday.
Oh my, is that Hisa? I didn't realize you were here.
It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me.
Sorry, Lily. I thought you realized.
No, it's all right, Hanako.
Hisa, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding.
If you say so. I'm still working this place out.
Well then, I think you'll find most people here a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you're feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions.
Sure, I'll remember that.
Lily?
Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement.
I'm sorry, Hiso, but we must be off.
Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable here right now, and Lily still seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apologies really made an impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hums quietly, still smiling.
I'm sure that we could accommodate you, can't we, Hanako?
She looks at Lily, then at me, and then she freezes wide-eyed.
Sure. Well then, shall we go?
I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped now. Declining after the deal is sealed would only cause confusion and problems. So we leave, all three together. Lily wakes up beside the wall, letting her cane gently tap against it every now and then. Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she is practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must make her walking that much harder, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with a force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little, and my vision briefly goes black. Ow! Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who jumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as rather strange, or as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't even have legs. Or she does, but they're not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shins, and feet made from black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. Wow, this dude's kind of an asshole. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up.
Oh man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going. You just came out of nowhere. Sorry.
She looks really apologetic, in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. That's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch! Oh. I see that, but there's a stinging pain glowing in my chest. I know this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself. Don't forget your medication. Most of all, don't get it in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away. Holding my breath, attempt to hear my heartbeat. This seems normal.
Hey, should I get a nurse?
The worried it's high-pitched. The worried high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded, until I realize that I probably looked worse off than I really was, doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time and taking a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time, but it's nothing more than that.
You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard.
It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done.
That's good.
Isa, what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried. More than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious, just winded.
Sorry, it's my fault. I was just going to get some stuff, and I was kind of in a hurry.
That someone here is Emmy, isn't it? The little girl coughs quietly and shuffles her plastic or metallic feet, looking down at them before saying anything.
Hi, Lily. Hanako.
I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure these sorts of accidents, but there are people who aren't. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute, I find myself smiling.
I know that. I was just... I gotta go. Teacher'll have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I've got to change and everything.
Before any of us could say a thing, Emmy has already bottled away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen around here? Often? There are more rules in Yamaku than usual for running in corridors. But that rarely stops Emmy, it seems. She shakes her head weakly and offers a slight composed smile. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop her, I'm afraid. Shall we be off then? Lily heads off along the hallway, and Hanako hurries after her. The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retrace, being still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I can even open my small bag of food, Lily's busying herself with her thermos and tea bags as Hanako is setting out both their lunch boxes. So, is this what you meant by coming here almost every day?
Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we ended up using this room regularly.
After seeing Hanako's reaction to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why that is a boon. And Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. Now I take my seat last, after Lily's poured the tea for us and sits down. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Shizune. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met.
So, how are you faring in Yamaku, Hisao? You seemed a bit flustered before.
Well, apart from getting lost every now and again, and being crash-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess.
You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay?
For a brief moment, I consider telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think that they're buying it. But in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things that they don't feel comfortable speaking about. I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in this school? You both seem to know your way around here pretty well.
Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of high school as well, and moved to the dormitories when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right. Since high school.
So you've known each other since then?
Since I moved, yes. Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, of course. Hanako and Lily got lucky having each other's neighbors. Meanwhile, Hisao over here has fucking Kenji. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them. Though I'm guessing that Lily's blindness played a part in that as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scars.
Hey, Hisao.
let you in on a little secret, okay? It's really fucking easy. Don't fucking stare at the scars! With the immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls pack up the lunches and as effectively as they set them down.
I guess I'd better be off. Are you going to go with Hisao, Hanako?
Hanako looks up at me. For a second, I can see that she is considering skipping class. Maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me.
Yes.
I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at in the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be as neutral as I can. We should hurry then. Class has already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane, Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quickly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me.
Hisao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today.
My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako with me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now?
Yes.
Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There is definitely something going on here. Well, it's probably, something that she's able to do because of her disability. I don't know. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it is some form of informal agreement with the staff or if it's a perk afforded to the unique students of the school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person, despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd that the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves and I'm left alone with the teacher. Mutao is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody around. Nothing. Thinking about what I do after school. The teacher slowly puts a cap on the pen. He is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune. But the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No, I consider joining a club, but I don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Muto looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not like I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. Says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for an example, Shizune's deafness, when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. I mean, never mind. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open.
Teacher!
Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. God damn, woman! She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncy step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Motherfucker. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Oh god, this bitch again. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong but has no idea what.
Yes?
We have talked about volume control before.
Yes.
But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it?
We need help. We're running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress.
She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that?
Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little. But that time we just took it and went with that. Now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some?
I don't understand. How would I know?
Shi-chan, I mean the president thought that a teacher would know if there's plywood. Was she wrong?
Muto looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same fucking time. That sounds like a weird gore video. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any.
What should I do?
Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter.
I don't have the time. We're so busy.
She holds her head with both of her hands, looking as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair.
I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do and we're falling behind the schedule.
Muto looks at her gravely, and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face, but it'd be better if he didn't. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly, with a hard expression as if trying to say, go make some friends, you little shit. I guess I can give you a hand.
You can? Thanks, Hee-chan. You really are nice.
As she pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her fingers, yelping, "Ah!" and looks very puzzled.
Come to think of it, what's Hee-chan doing here? Class is over, you should be having fun.
We had a little chat.
Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hee-chan?
No, I'm not.
Is Hee-chan in trouble, teacher?
No, he's not. Fucking call it. That's great. I love this teacher. Amuto sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need?
Here's a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room.
She offers me the note she's holding, and I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether or not I'm joining the council or not.
Aww. Still, thanks, Hee-chan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry!
As she bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's, I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I don't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept, or not in use. Am I in the right place? Oh yeah, no, that's definitely an art class. Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. I'm so sorry, I'm used to all of the art classes I took in high school and middle school, for whatever reason, were in basements. It was weird, like, if the school had a basement level, that's where the art class would be. It was bizarre, actually. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes and a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This is an odd way of dining, seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as a part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my fucking sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl stuck the forkful in her mouth, and now is staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello? I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here.
There isn't. That's why I came here, too.
She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that Mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she were suspecting my observation was false.
You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you?
This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai Hisao. Or, I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday.
I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice.
Her deadpan manner talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. Oh, bitch. I make jokes about my fucking mental health all the goddamn time. Don't you worry. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is. She seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food.
Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are in the back.
Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day.
What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I would say.
I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with.
But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry, and it's very delicious.
With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes with at least as much impoliteness. She points it straight at me.
So, Nakai, what brings you to this place?
Like I said, I was told to look for these things.
No, school. From outside you look fine. Is your problem inside?
I come to full stop opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I
can guess. I am good at guessing. Better than most people.
Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I've frozen in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates on her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side.
I don't think it's anything in your head. Something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. Problem must be in your pants.
This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically, as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment.
So I was right? There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there?
Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem, arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed.
How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous.
What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down.
I forgive you. I collect people and a person with, That kind of problem would have been really great.
Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Collect people? Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all.
People with different problems.
Gotta catch 'em all. Abilities. Huh. So you just, like, go around asking people what's wrong with them?
Pretty much.
I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what she said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe the Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes, which flicker relentlessly from below her short bangs, and even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them, like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight would discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone this late, or do you get the occasional visitor?
Visitors. Maybe you were my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around.
Horsing?
She likes to do sports.
Oh.
And
that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now.
That's very nice for you. Don't feel obligated to stay. I was about to take a nap anyways. You need to do whatever you were going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you would like to watch... Perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping?
Not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka.
You can call me Rin.
I feel that our relationship is at the point of good enough to warrant this much. Oh shit, I missed something. Anyway, fine, then I'm Hisao.
Then you are.
Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere.
See you later, Hisao.
There is something like a tiny smile there, in her face maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice.
I heard that. What did she hear?
I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten into a jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as if she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited.
No, wait. More importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today.
She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here?
You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan.
She wags her finger at me scoldingly.
I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy.
Oh, sorry. I got the things here. I was just going to bring them.
I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you? I wonder.
Misha signs something quickly as Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to defaced school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness.
Hello?
Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face.
Hello? Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular.
It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs.
Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival?
Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her.
I keep wondering about that myself, too. And we'll think about it harder.
As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown.
Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it.
Rin nods assertively.
We'll think more seriously.
Misha apparently giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. when Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo.
How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future.
I'm about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom.
Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it.
She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Yes, nice guys finish last. Anyways. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it?
Away.
And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there is little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now. Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin needle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast. I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai! What a happy coincidence! Does go too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, and then turns to me because obviously it's me he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication.
Why the fuck aren't you taking him to your office? You know, confidentiality?
So we will do a few tests regularly. But what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off. If you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off at the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as much, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms of offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Sorry about that. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them.
Are you getting medications for your heart thingy?
Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart.
Will they make you better?
No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a little while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to... Sorry about that. Everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design of the school. Sorry, that was a nice stretch. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, had been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall. Some places look more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall.
See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces, whatever. Which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are lots of people with hands. And the reach is better and it's faster too.
She goes on a tangent, waving a little with her arm or whatever, if it is actually there, or whatever there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of this student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, but the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering.
So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure out before it's too late and hope it's lost.
Why would the hope be lost?
Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time.
She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this?
Yes. All of it. Yes.
Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness.
It's okay. You can say it. I probably won't get mad.
I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Ren is. This is really awkward.
Don't you want to ask?
How do you paint without hands?
See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet.
I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do?
You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now.
I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject.
The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not that flat at all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I want to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat?
Well, paintings tend to be flat.
Not like that flat. You know, flat. Some people are no substance. No meat where there should be some.
Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself without saying it, and looks at the sky as if trying to look for something up there.
I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any.
Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be any help, though.
It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe?
Not that I know of.
I get it. A heart thingy has nothing to do with that.
She gives me a sly look for no reason. Or a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't.
Let's do it then.
So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of these cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns, and that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are just obscure at best.
Add half a splash of green.
I crouch down and pick up the can of bright green.
The other green. This green.
I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl.
No, that's almost a whole splash. More white.
Is green a good color to add?
No idea. Is green a good color to add?
No idea. You're the artist here. And a smile appears in the corners of her mouth.
Do you lack an opinion?
No, it's just that I have no idea.
It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white.
With the exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter.
That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and, you saw the morning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow.
Despite the impossibility of a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's been imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind in the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the detail, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing the paint mixes, neither of us say a word for the longest time. And even though short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here for all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is already here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easy. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching my normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. What am I hearing, kids? Sasha, what was your brother scratching? It was my couch, wasn't it? Oliver, look, he just ratted your ass out. Don't you love him? Yeah, you kids are great. Anyway, sorry. Oliver was scratching my couch and I was just checking in on that. Crazy kids. Anyways, the prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lithely with a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one. I can't remember it. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine. And the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. Anyway, I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and is prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over.
Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right?
She grins, seemingly pleased that she'd remember my name.
You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hall yesterday.
How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has that decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway.
Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine.
Great.
I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you?
And that's right.
Oh. I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest.
What? Are you saying I don't look like I could be a spy?
No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid he would have someone to watch my every move. Unless you are here to do exactly that.
No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked if I had seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track.
So, why are you down here? Emmy strikes a dramatic pose.
Training.
For what?
Track.
Oh, I see. You're on the track team then. Emmy nods enthusiastically.
Yep. I'm one of the better runners too.
And modest about it too.
Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know?
I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. Nah, I'm not even sure that I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organized sports, you know? It's true, I've never really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning.
I see. Not that into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run together, huh?
What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased.
Are you going to warm up?
Real men don't warm up. Ah, yes. Real men don't warm up. They prefer cramps. They want to feel like women. Good luck with that. They prefer pulling hamstrings. That's what men prefer.
Oh no, you always should warm up. Bad Hisao.
She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer.
I hate warming up too.
She laughs suddenly.
Heck, I don't even have to stretch my legs.
As to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic.
Let's go.
So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting on the balls of your feet rather than the heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Emmy keeps running and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor.
Finished already?
I hang my head ruefully. Yeah. I'm not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods, and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling.
Well, the important thing is you started, right? And next time you have to try to hold out longer, and then longer, and longer, and eventually you'll be great.
I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I'm going to get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly.
Nah, I've got plenty of time.
I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug.
Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Hisao.
Yeah. See ya. I'm not sure whether this morning experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about getting out there this morning. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to get better, right? Practice makes perfect, or something like that. I usually say practice makes better, but that's just me. Perfection is bullshit! Do not give in! It's nice, at least, to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up.